Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on the EvolvedJeepin channel. As you can see, we are back in the garage, but this time to do a simple light kit installation on my 2019 Jeep Wrangler. This light kit has been on the market for quite some time, but I haven't seen it installed and functioning, so I am excited to get it installed and see what it's all about. The light kit that we're installing today is the XKGlow running board light kit. And basically what this is it is two mini light bars that are designed to be attached to or near your running board to add some additional light features on the side of your Jeep. So before I get into explaining what this kit is and its features and get it installed, I just wanted to explain to everybody why I purchased it and what I intend to use it for. If you have been following along on my channel, you would have noticed that at one point I actually had installed the Rock Slide Engineering power steps on this Jeep. And I have to say, those were a great product. They worked amazing for a lifted Jeep and helped with getting in and out. But as soon as I added the AccuAir air suspension lift kit, it didn't really make sense for me to have a moving step when I could simply now just raise and lower the vehicle to get in and out. So I decided to sell those steps while they were almost brand new, and I picked up these Mopar Performance Rock Rails, which I have to say, I actually like them a little bit more. They have a lower profile than the Rock Slide Engineering's had, and they have just enough step to help with getting in and out. The only thing that these Rock Rails do not offer that the Rock Slide Engineering steps did have was a courtesy light. Basically, when you opened up the door, the power step would go down and a light would turn on to illuminate the step to make it easy to get in and out of the vehicle at night. So what I've been trying to look for is some type of light that I can add to these Rock Rails to give me back that feature to help with getting in and out of the vehicle when it's dark. Yes, I could have simply just purchased some rock lights, but for me, rock lights aren't designed to go underneath your step or illuminate your step. They're designed to go under the vehicle and in the wheel wells to illuminate the ground for nighttime off-roading. So I really wanted to find a product that was intended for what I want to do, and that's when I came across the XKGlow running board lights. This kit is designed as a universal kit, so it's not intended specifically for a Jeep JL or any Jeep in particular. It is designed for any vehicle you may have. You do not need anything special to install it. You don't need a switch pod or switches. It is designed to tap right into your stock wiring and function correctly. It also comes in two lengths, comes in a 48-inch, which goes for 180, and a 60-inch that goes for 200. This kit has 4 light features. The first one is the courtesy lighting. Basically the idea that when you open up your door, the light turns on, illuminating the step in the ground below. And then when you shut your door, the light turns off. It also has a running light feature, which will basically run a white light on the side of your vehicle when your vehicle's on. The next one is an amber turn signal. And then the last feature is actually an optional feature where if you wire it up, when you press the hazards, the light will not just do an amber regular hazard signal, it will actually strobe white and yellow to give that extra bright effect. As usual, I will put a link below if you want to go check out the features and functions or pick this up for yourself. But at this point, I think we're at the phase to get into the installation and to see what this product turns out to be. So the first step to the installation is figuring out where we're going to place the light strips. There's a couple locations I could have put it. I could put them right here on the edge of the actual rock rail. I could also stick them on the bottom, but for me, those don't quite make sense because if I end up ever doing more hardcore rock crawling and stuff, you might need to use these rails to slide on, and if you have a light there, it's just gonna get ripped off. So there was one more location you could have put it, and that would have been up underneath this bracket here. But for me, it didn't quite make sense because then what happens is you're just gonna end up lighting the ground and not the step. So the location I'm deciding to go with is right here above the step, and I'm gonna position it just like that. What I like about this is that it kind of just is an extension of the step and you don't really notice the light being there. There is a gap at the end here where you'll see the white body. I might just add some black vinyl or something to make it look like a uniformed extension. So there are two options for applying this to your vehicle. The first one is the peel and stick, where you can see on the back, they've already got the double-sided tape. So all you would have to do is clean the surface, peel the tape, and then stick it in place. The other option is a removable option, which it's okay if you want to remove the light bar, but it still means applying something permanent. Basically what you're going to do is you install these metal brackets in the location you want, and then you can remove the light bar at any time. But what that means is you need to drill a hole to attach these. So I'm not going to be drilling a hole in my body, so we're going to go with the peel and stick. So let's go ahead and get this stuck in place, and then we'll go into the next steps of figuring out the wiring. So now that we've got the light strip installed where we want, the next part is wiring. Luckily, they've got all the wires nicely labeled. The yellow is for the running light, the blue is for the strobe light feature, the red is for the power, the ground is black, the white is for the door, and the turn signal is green. It also comes with this nice instruction document here, which shows you exactly how to engage the strobe effect or install this kit using the removable clips. It basically has everything you need. But what it doesn't have information for is which wires to connect it to or which colors you need to do. And that is because the kit is universal. So it doesn't have the information for the Jeep Wrangler, doesn't have the information for the Ford. That stuff you have to figure out. Luckily for us, we've already installed the XKGlow fender lights, so we already know what some of the cords are for the turn signals, so that should be fairly straightforward for us to do. For the courtesy light, what we're gonna end up doing is we're actually gonna end up going inside and going to the footwheel light under there and wiring into that, because that is attached and will give me the effect I need. The power and ground, that's pretty straightforward. We're just gonna run them straight to the battery. So to do this, the best thing we're going to do is we're actually going to pull off the front fender, or at least part it so that I can get access to this unit and tap into the same wires that I've done previous. So let's go ahead, pull that fender. Wow, buddy, how's it going? So for the wiring, guys, basically what we've done is we've ran the wires into the gap between the rock rail and the body. Then we've brought them up and in behind the wheel well liner. For the power and ground, we're going to bring that all the way up and into the engine bay. The power gets connected straight to the battery. The ground got connected to the frame rail right here, behind here. And then we started with the turn signal. So mind this is a bit of a mess because when I was wiring this, it was very difficult to figure out where things would go. Eventually I'll clean that up. But for now, the green wire, which is the turn signal one that comes off this light, it runs up and gets connected to, on my vehicle, was the white brown wire. So once that's connected, we're good to go with the turn signal. The next wire that we have is the running light. That is the yellow one. So actually we haven't connected it because what I found out when testing it out is that the light is actually amber, and I definitely do not want to run a running light that's amber. That's just not the style that I like. So I'm not going to run that. Maybe in the future what I'll do is I'll wire this up to maybe a switch box or something, and then I can turn that on and off and get the yellow light if I want it. So the next wire that we needed to run was the one for the courtesy light. That was the white wire. Basically what we did was we ran that in across the frame rail, and then it goes up here to the drain hole in the floor on the front passenger and front driver side. We pulled the plug, put the wire into it, put the plug back in, and then the wire goes inside the cab. So once the wire is inside the vehicle, it's basically gonna come up through the drain hole that's underneath this and underneath the carpet. We bring the wire across into this pillar, and then you bring it up underneath and you run it across to that light. You can see the red piece right there. That is where it's connecting. There are 3 wires on the connection. One is green, white, there's green, black, and then there's yellow, black. You're basically gonna connect it to the yellow, black, and then the feature will be set up. If you wanted to run it as a running light, you could actually connect it to the green, white, and then you would have a white running light. I did not set that up because I don't want any running light, so we've just set it up as the courtesy. So the last wire to connect is the blue wire. But this is only if you want to engage the optional feature to have the strobe light effect when you press your hazards. If you don't connect this wire, basically when you press the hazard, you'll get the standard amber flashing light on the side. But if you engage this, you'll get a yellow-white strobe light effect on the side when you engage the hazards. It's really up to you and up to your personal taste. I did do it just to see what it's like, and I'll tell you how to do it right now. Basically what you need to do is you take the blue wire from this light over here, and you're gonna run it all the way to the other side and tap it into the green wire. Basically, you just repeat that on the other side, and then both lights are gonna be engaged in the strobe light effect when you press the hazard button. So at this point, we are pretty much done with this side. All we really need to do is secure the wires in place, put the fender back on, and then we can move to the other side and repeat everything all over again. Once we've done that, we'll be ready to wrap this video up. I'll be able to show you guys what the product turned out, some of its features, let you guys know what I think of the product, and then we'll be able to call it a day. So let me get to finishing this up, and I'll see you guys in a few seconds. So we finished the installation of the lights on both sides, and overall I have to say I'm pretty impressed. At first I was a little concerned, mainly because just installing this type of strip bar was just could look very cheap because the light could be very visible and it might just not look that good. So at first I was going to put them underneath so that you wouldn't see them, but then I knew that if I ever end up using my rock rails as a slider, that light would get destroyed in second, and so that made no sense. So the only place I really had was above the step where I put it, but I was concerned that that would be very visible and look cheap. But I have to say the way it turned out is you can barely see them unless you're looking for them. And I think that might have to do with the fact that I added a little bit of black vinyl on both sides to fill the gaps that were there. So it makes it look like it's part of the rock rail and not just an add-on. I would have liked that maybe the light would have been bigger and I wouldn't have had to use those strips of vinyl. That would have been ideal, but I know this is a universal kit and it's designed to fit on the majority of vehicles at this length. So this kit has a lot to offer, and to highlight the functionality that it does offer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a little montage at the end of this video that highlights everything these light kit can do in both the day and night, so that you get a good understanding of what it can do to figure out if maybe this is something you want to add to your Jeep or to any other vehicle you may have. For myself, one of the main features that I was looking for was courtesy lighting, and I've definitely gained that. You can see when I open up the door, I now get the white light that illuminates the step, making it easy to get in and out of the vehicle, no matter how light or dark it is out. Two of the features I didn't end up using are the running lights. I didn't want either a white light or a yellow light, so I didn't end up plugging that in. And then the other feature I didn't end up going ahead with is the strobe light feature. That's mainly because the strobe light was just a lot and I didn't think I needed it. So I didn't end up putting those in. Maybe in the future what I'll do is I'll wire those wires up to a switch pod so that I can maybe turn them on and off when I do feel like using them. But for now, I didn't end up running them. So for the overall installation, it was pretty easy to do. The only thing that was really difficult was figuring out which wires to connect and tap into. One thing I want to note is on this side, the wire connection was actually the white and brown one, but on the driver's side, it was white green. Not sure why it was different, but that's how it was on my Jeep. So the way I figured that out was I went over to that side and there was no brown white. So then what all I did was I unplugged that plug that's right there and just started tapping the wire to each one to figure out which one controlled the turn signal. Besides that, the only other thing that maybe could have been better is different tap-in connections. The ones that they provided were the permanent ones, where I would have rather something that was maybe removable so you could easily just detach it if you wanted to remove the bars instead of having to destroy the connections or cut a wire. So I would have liked that. And then the other thing would have been some zip ties so that it would help with securing the wire in place. But overall, I have to say I'm highly impressed by this product and I definitely do like them. I have to say there's some added features that you get, like when you do that and unlock the vehicle, the light's on before you even get to the vehicle. At this point, guys, we're just going to wrap this video up. You can see Wrangler is pretty pooped and ready to get some dinner. Myself, I want some dinner. So please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. If you have any questions or comments, post them below and I'll do the best to answer them. And at this point, we'll see you guys on the next video where I'm sure I'll be installing something cool.